This is the LowcoSports Lowdown Podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, Lowco sports fans, welcome to another edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown. I'm Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr. And Wes, we were just talking before we started recording that we got a lot to get to today. So if we're a little bit briefer about some of these topics, just know that it's because we have tons of news to get through, partially because we didn't really do a lowdown last week because we had the preview show and then the daily live shows from the CJ Cup out at Congaree, which was terrific. And that's we're going to spend a good bit talking about that at the top of the show because, of course, Rory McIlroy, the most famous currently active, I guess you would say, golfer on the planet, won the CJ Cup out at Congaree. It was a terrific weekend. So we'll go into that more. But and I was going to ask you how you're doing, but I'm guessing you were going to talk about what a great experience it was to be out at Congaree this weekend and see Rory win out there. So we'll kind of roll two birds into one here and tell us all about the weekend at Congaree and Rory's incredible win.
Yeah, I mean, this was a dream just to get Rory McIlroy, who just won the FedEx Cup and is known as one of the best golfers in the world, to come here. But then to go to the Lowcountry and win the thing is just that was an amazing experience. And what a weekend! Just so special to see one of the biggest names in golf rise to the top of the world right here in our backyard. I mean, that is special stuff. And fends off an excellent effort from Kurt Kitayama to take the title. His 23rd PGA Tour win, added to his illustrious career. And, he had to earn it because Kitayama was right there. Really impressed by him at a nice 4-under round to finish it off bogey-free. And he was right there in contention to the very end, to that 72nd hole. And, heading to the 14th, it was tied up and then close to it. And Rory McIlroy did just vintage Rory McIlroy things. And he birdied 3 straight holes to fend off Kitayama. Nearly choked away at the end with 2 bogeys in a row, but Kerr unable to capitalize. He missed a birdie putt that could have sent to a playoff because Rory then went on to make bogey on that final hole, but he was able to hold on and get the win. But excellent effort from Kurt Kitayama, and Jon Rahm right up there with as well, but he let the emotions get better of him down the stretch. He had a great start, but that 3-putt on 6 really did him in. And McIlroy had some trouble spots throughout the round, but he came up with some massive saves, including that par on the par 4 third when he hit it in the bunker on the right of the trees, and then to the near marsh on 5. But then really showed his mettle early on. And when the course got tougher, he rose the challenge and pulled away and did just enough to hang on and win this thing. So congratulations to Rory, congratulations to Congaree Golf Club for another stellar event. Called upon to host this, and it was an unbelievable success. And we've been blessed now to see 4 PGA Tour events in just the last 2 years, and just really excited to think about what the future could hold for big-time golf here in the Lowco. I mean, they did such a great job organizing this event, and everything about this tournament was perfect. The weather, the food, and, of course, this all-star field where we had 6 guys in the top 10, and I believe like around 15 of the top 20, which is unbelievable. What a treat for us, and just a dream come true to see Rory McIlroy not just come here, but win the event here at home and adding to what has been a memorable year in golf in the Lowco with Jordan Spieth taking the Heritage back in April. So, I mean, couldn't have asked for much more from the CJ Cup, and just a special opportunity for all of us to witness it in person. And certainly definitely missed out if you weren't able to attend. It was just an unbelievable event. The weather was absolutely gorgeous. And, it's another memorable PGA Tour event here, what we look back on for a long time. So really blessed that I was able to cover the CJ Cup. And, I think it sets up Congaree for some more big things in the future.
Yeah, it was really a great show. They really put on a great show. And, we talked a lot about the TV coverage wasn't great. And that was a little disappointing that, more people couldn't see it. But, the more I thought about that, the more I thought, and that the crowds were not huge. It was a nice crowd, especially on the weekend, but it was pretty sparse Thursday and Friday. And the more I thought about that, the more I thought that maybe that's kind of by design. They didn't need an overwhelming crowd. They didn't need they don't need exposure to the world. There's not a resort there. They're not trying to get people to come play their golf course. What they wanted to do was put on a great show, have the course in major championship type condition, to show the players and the officials what they could do with the golf course, and to just let them see the property and see what possibilities and potential is there, and and quite frankly to let them tell them what needs to be better for them to be able to get the kind of events that they aspire to host. And so, I think from that standpoint, the kind of limited marketing and the limited TV coverage doesn't really hurt the tournament in any, or doesn't hurt Congaree in any way. I think they achieved what they needed to achieve. The players definitely had glowing things to say. You didn't hear people fussing about it. They were saying it's a hard golf course, but it was all in a respectful, positive way. It wasn't people who were trashing it for they made it too hard like the U.S. Open at times. But I think it was all in all a huge win for everyone involved. And obviously, when Rory wins, that definitely helps the profile a little bit. People are talking about it, worldwide, because he's gone to number one, and so it's a huge story, and so that's a cool thing, and puts Congaree on the map a little bit more, whether they want to be on the map or not. They want to be on the golf map. I'm not sure that they want to be that known beyond those circles, but that's okay. It's going to happen naturally when you have a top 50 type course on all the rankings, and so it's a phenomenal venue. I'm like, I was talking with Chris Bowes actually out at the state tournament yesterday. His daughters played at May River, and you're talking about we can't decide if it's sad that the whole world doesn't know about Congaree or if it's cool that the whole world doesn't know about Congaree. But we definitely like kind of having it to ourselves for now. But that's a great segue because we've got some more golf news. The May River Sharks were the two-time defending state champs in Class 4A, but Mr. Bose's young daughters are off playing in college now, so it's kind of it looked like a rebuilding year for the Sharks this year because they only had two sophomores and then a couple of eighth graders and a ninth grader in the lineup, but they really rallied. Late in the season, that they brought the young girls along, and May River was just 10 shots back going into the final round at the 4A state championship. They ended up finishing second to Pickens, with Hilton Head not far behind in fourth, and that's a young team as well. May River had two top five finishes, Claire Green in third, Robin Zatruer tied for fourth, and then Alexia Milbrandt from Hilton Head tied for sixth. So three all-state players from the Lowco, two of the top four teams from the Lowco, and it was a beautiful day, and really nice job by the May River coaching staff and the folks out at Hilton Head Lakes, having the golf course ready and hosting a great event. And it sounds like they're already on board to do it again next year if the folks at May River are willing to volunteer and put in the work that goes into it. But I love having it here because we don't get to see those teams a lot, and it's great to be able to go out and cover them on their biggest stage when it really matters, and also help out some of our friends around the state with photos and stuff like that. So I love having it here the last couple of years, and I hope they can keep it here. And Hilton Head Lakes, I thought, was a really nice venue for it. I mean, the routing's a little funky on foot, but if you've got volunteers to shuttle people, you're fine. And these are young kids; they can handle it. But it's a nice track. It's challenging without being unplayable for them, and has some really nice holes out there. So great showing by the local teams, and great to get out there and see some of the parents that we don't get to see too often either, get out there in the galleries and speak with them. So great day out on the golf course yesterday.
Yeah, great week and a couple days of golf here in the Lowcountry after the TJ Cup, getting right back to the links to watch this South Carolina High School League girls golf tournament. I actually played at Hilton Head Lakes a while back, and I thought it was a moderately challenging course, not too difficult, but still presents some tough holes. And I thought it was perfect for this group of girls golfers. And it's a great venue, and just it's really pretty around this time of year. Great weather, and just they did a good job preparing and setting this thing up. And those Lowco girls, both Hilton Head and May River, were outstanding. I mean, I can't say enough about how well the Sharks did. I mean, with the expectations coming of about how much they lost, and they take second place just to Pickens and nearly won the state title. I mean, Blue Flame capturing the championship, but another excellent effort from the Sharks. And I'm really excited about this young team. I mean, going in the future to finish second in the state with no juniors or seniors is a heck of an accomplishment. Claire Green taking third individually, Robinson Trichura right behind her in fourth, both named to the All-State team. And then excellent year for Green, who's become that number one performer now in this Shark squad. A lot of young depth behind her that's going to be really good in the years to come. And then a great finish for Hilton Head as well, taking fourth as a team. And Alexia Milbrandt, who's been a star the last few years, leading the way with a 2-day 156. Brooke Nicholas with 172. So Hilton Head, they've always been right up there, and I think they will continue to be in the mix. And Ron Grant's done a fantastic job with that program, and expect some big things from them in the year ahead. And tough to see the rain end for May River, but definitely got to be excited for what Kelly Manasseh is going to do with the squad in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, gosh, you couldn't have expected them really to be in contention if you just looked on paper. I mean, one of their five had not really played any tournament golf before this season. You've got a couple of eighth graders in there, and then your veterans are sophomores. So a great job by those two, Claire and Robin. And obviously they've done a good job of helping the younger girls along. And I'm sure they have, more young talent coming along too, because we have a ton of great junior golfers here in the area. So, and Hilton Head's going to be right on them. I guarantee you, they're coming strong too. Kat Gavin, good young player. They've got a ton and Alexia's still back again. So they've got a ton of young talent too. And Bluffton's got some good players as well. So exciting stuff there. And we'll see if any of them go on to play at the next level, like Jonathan Grizz, our guy Grizz. We broke a little news on the CJ Cup show the other night because Trace Lowther was on there, former Grizz caddy during his amateur days this summer. Let us know that Grizz finished tied for 15th in his event for Alabama at the Golf Club of Georgia. I guess it was the Golf Club of Georgia Collegiate. And that was in Atlanta, right? Georgia Tech's home course. So T15 finish, solid stuff from Grizz. Great to see him in the lineup now as a true freshman at Alabama. And it's neat to see him playing team golf, because he didn't really play high school golf for most of his high school career. So to see him on a team, that's got to be a little adjustment for him, and it's got to be fun for him. So I'm excited to talk to him again and see how he's enjoying that aspect of playing college golf.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different when you're coming up playing mostly individual events to be now in this team competition where you're kind of playing with each other and looking to improve as you get further on in the season. And then you have that camaraderie and that kind of teamwork aspect of it. You're playing as individuals, but your scores are combined for a team. So it definitely adds another level of intensity because you don't want to let your teammates down in big events. So, but yeah, I love to hear this from Grizz. And I remember when I first started hearing his name back in 2020, when he won that South Carolina Amateur at the age of 16. And, that really kickstarted him to where he is now. And what a way to finish out his fall season in Alabama, leading his team at the Golf Club of Georgia Collegiate, and a terrific 3 under 213. And he got better as the tournament went on. He finished it with 3 under 69 on Sunday to close it out. And so an excellent weekend from Grizz, who's I think really has found himself a good home in the college level over at Alabama. So lots of good things in store for him in the coming years. Just a terrific player. Got to catch up with him at the Heritage, I believe maybe last year, but got to talk to him and just really impressed with his demeanor and his work ethic, and who just has that drive to get better. So, and staying there tied with Jonathan Grizz was another familiar name, Andrew Swanson, the Clemson Tiger, now a sophomore. I believe at May River, had a fantastic freshman year and has become a solid part of that Tiger lineup. Just so awesome to see a couple of Lowco standouts doing it at the college level and find strong results there. So Bryce and them are kind of set the example, and now some of these other guys are trying to follow suit and continue to grow the level of golf here in the Lowco.
Yeah, that's awesome for Swanson. He's really turned it on. We talked a little bit about his in the past about his senior year of high school was a little bit of a disappointment. I think he would classify it. And then, man, that summer he kicked it in, and then he got to Clemson, and he has really hit the ground running and played great there. So that's terrific to see. They obviously saw something in him, and knew that the game was there, and he has clearly put in the work to develop it. So great stuff seeing those guys continue to flourish, and hopefully moving toward professional careers out there playing with Bryson and the big dogs. Might see him out at Congaree someday. But let's shift gears from golf, Wes. Yeah, exactly. Let's shift gears from Wes. Let's shift gears from golf and talk a little bit of volleyball. With Patrick Henry volleyball capturing the first state title for the school since 1997. They had a terrific season. Our friend Jeffrey Strickland over there has been keeping me posted on their progress throughout the year, and they were kind of getting beat up early in the year. They played some really tough competition, and were taking some losses, but he kept saying, hey, look out, we're going to be good. And then they went undefeated in region, and then just blew through the SCISA 2A state tournament bracket. Did not lose a game. They won their last 10 matches of the season, and just breezed through the state championship match the other night against the Kings Academy. So fantastic stuff. And we're going to talk here in just a bit with the coach, Belinda McCoy, who was just delightful. She is, so humble. She's your grandma, taking a bunch of country girls from Estill and going and whipping up on everybody in the state in volleyball. I mean, obviously other small private schools in the state, but nonetheless, it's really neat. And she's such a humble, servant leader. And I was really, interested to hear, just how much she really put into learning at the foot of the coaches she worked under early in her career. I think there's a lot of advice for young coaches in there about not focusing so much on what but on what you don't know and what you can learn from others, because she was really a sponge, and you can tell that, and she continues to try to learn. And it's just really impressive. I'm excited that we're covering this program now, that we get to see her personality and see the mark that she's making on the kids out there, because it looks to me, from my view, that she's a terrific coach, and we need more like that out there.
Yeah, I mean, what an example that she has set, a tremendous individual, and what a special season for this group. Patrick Henry certainly grown a lot through the start of the year, playing some quality competition, but then they hit the ground running when they got into region play and just never looked back. And what a monumental accomplishment for this program and this school. First state title since 1997, and what a way to do it here this season on the volleyball court. And it just speaks to the leadership and the experience that Belinda McCoy has developed throughout her years as a coach. And she learned from the best, including John McKissick, who's one of the greatest legends of all time in the country in high school football, and certainly learned a lot from him. And from what I heard, she also got to work with a couple other big legendary coaches, including, I believe, Dean Smith, some big time basketball coaches throughout the years. So, that's a great honor for her, and be able to get that knowledge. And as you said, be that sponge that always absorbs those information, because you're never done learning, no matter what profession you're in, and you always can learn more and get better. She's taking it to heart at every step, and just some great advice to no matter what profession you're in. You always have to be able to learn and take in new information to help you succeed at whatever you're doing. That's a universal life lesson. So it's a great job from Belinda McCoy, and so proud of the team and those seniors to get it done and win that state title.
And she's also the team mom for the whole school, because she's the coach and AD, the football coach and AD's wife. So, man, you talk about wearing a lot of hats. Miss Belinda, I can't believe how calm and collected she is with all the roles that she's filling out there. But she's terrific. And in fact, let's hear more about Patrick Henry volleyball and the upcoming girls basketball season from Coach Belinda McCoy out of Patrick Henry. All right, Loco sports fans, we've got a real treat now, as we are joined by the latest state championship coach in the Loco, Belinda McCoy, who brought a SCISA state title back to Patrick Henry with the volleyball team this week. And Belinda, you've been at it a good while over there in Estill. I believe you played your ball there back before you became the coach, and you're the coach's wife as well, right? So you're wearing a lot of hats out there. But tell us a little bit about what you've built there at Patrick Henry with the girls sports programs, winning this state title in volleyball, and I know your basketball team is very competitive year after year. So, what is it about the girls out there at Patrick Henry that you've been able to build such competitive programs?
Well, I played here and went off to school and worked in the Somerville area for years, and then I married the athletic director at Patrick Henry, and so I moved back to Patrick Henry, and now I work with the girls volleyball and girls basketball programs, and I really think that it is fun to give back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, what a huge honor and accomplishment for you and this team. First state championship, I believe, since 1997, if I heard correctly. But yeah, what does that mean to bring home a state title and that long drought? I mean, that's an awesome accomplishment for you guys.
Yeah, I've been working with the volleyball team for 11 years, and we've had 7 region championships, a lower state, state runner-up opportunity twice, and this was our 3rd time, and so I guess the 3rd time's a charm because we brought home a state title on this trip, and it was a blessing in this time, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Tell me a little bit about your season, because I mean, you guys really challenged yourselves early. You played a tough schedule, had Hilton Head Christian Academy on there a couple of times, and John Paul II a couple of times, and went to the Walterboro tournament and played some good competition early, and kind of took your lumps. And I'm guessing you did that by design, because then at the end of the season, you ran off a whole bunch in a row, went undefeated in region, and ran through the playoffs like nothing without dropping a game. So do you like to really test yourself early, and do you feel like that helped you guys be ready for that playoff grind?
Well, I have to give credit to my husband on that one.
There you go.
He does the scheduling, and he scheduled some pretty tough competition there in the beginning. We always like to do a tough competition in the preseason. It kind of sets us up for what we have to, set our goals for. And we did that quite a bit there with a preseason at Walterboro. We played Pinewood, a 4A school in Skeeza. We played Beaufort and Calden County high schools, and that's big competition for a small school like ours. But we did pretty well in that tournament, and then went and played John Paul and Savannah Days, Hilton Head Christian, like you said, twice, and those are tough teams, and our kids didn't win those matches, but played tough in those matches and realized that we didn't give in, and I think that helped us when it got time for the region competition. Our region competition was not as brutal as maybe the Christians and the Savannah Days of the world.
But you see the fruits of your labor there after you challenge those tough teams, and you guys have really improved by playing that strong competition over the years. So it definitely really helps to challenge yourself and play some quality opponents. And we've seen it across so many sports here in the Lowco that when you've been able to establish that tough schedule and then get those learning opportunities, it's only going to help you moving forward, especially for 1A schools like yourself and Patrick Henry. So once again, congratulations on a phenomenal season, state championship. Tell me about some of the standouts who have been the key names on this roster, especially in the postseason, to put you guys over the top.
Well, we've had 5 seniors this entire season, and those 5 seniors have been a real big component in in our wins. And our 5 seniors are Lissa Sanders. She plays outside, and Harper Rice is a setter and other outside hitter. And then our middles are Lily Henderson and Emery Priester. And then our libero is stays in the middle of the show, so to speak. She tries to stay in the middle of everything, Abby Croft. And those kids have played volleyball for a long time. I know Harper, Emery, and Lily played for me in the 5th grade. So they've played volleyball for a long time, and done club at different points in their careers, and then finishing up this year it's been a dream come true, really.
Yeah, I mean that's always special when you have that core group that has gone all the way through it together and has that bond. And I'm guessing many of them are also on your basketball roster as you now start to transition and shift gears to winter. Give us a little bit of a preview of what to expect from the Patriot basketball team this season.
Well, in basketball, the last couple of years we've finished up in the Final Four and then the championship, much like volleyball. And let's see, Harper Rice will play basketball. We'll add another senior, Phoebe Gooding, who doesn't play volleyball, and do that way. But we'll look forward to basketball, that's for sure, and using as much of the experience of going to these playoff games as we can, because we really believe that having been in those championship and playoff games so deep in the past 2 or 3 years really made Monday night as easy as it was. It was a good thing to have that experience.
Yeah, and it builds culture when you win a state championship and another sport, volleyball. We see it so many times. It translates over to the next sport, winter or spring, and in this case, basketball. How will that state title, with some of those girls on the roster now playing basketball, how will that championship culture now translate as you guys get ready to start a new season?
Well, we have high expectations when we start the season, whether it's volleyball or basketball, and we settle for nothing less in the preseason, going against that tough competition. And I think that culture just continues, and we build on it as we go through the season and hope for the best, much like the success we had in volleyball. I think it was probably the most enjoyable moments we've had, all of us have had in quite some time. And so we'll work to get to those moments again, I believe.
Yeah, once you get a little taste of that, it's ending your season with a win. Not very many teams get to do that. So once you get a little taste of that, man, you just want more of it. So I think you're going to be in pretty good shape in the motivation department when it comes to basketball this year. I got to know, when it came time for you to get in there and start coaching, was Mr. Mike pushing you, trying to pull you in and get you involved because he knew you could build such great programs, or were you knocking down his door saying, "We can do this, I promise, I won't step on your toe"? Like, what was the dynamic like with you guys working together?
Well, I had coached for 16 years in Somerville, so having done my mentorship under Coach Kissick in Somerville, I only knew winning. That was what it was expected in Somerville. When I was at Patrick Henry in high school, I only knew winning. We won 5 region championships when I played basketball here. And so when Mike and I got married, it was we expected to win, and he was fixing to hire a coach, and that coach didn't really know the game of basketball. And I said, I think it's a shame that you would hire somebody for my nephews that because when I started here, I started with boys, and that would be awful for them to have to play for somebody that didn't really know the game of basketball. He said, "Good, I've hired a coach." Now, let's get started. So that's how I really started in basketball here at Patrick Henry. In volleyball, I was already coaching basketball, and a man was coaching volleyball, and he left 2 weeks into the season, in the preseason prep. He left, had an emergency in his family, and he had to leave the state. And because of that, I was forced into volleyball here at Patrick Henry 11 years ago. So.
Yeah, kind of following up on that. How did you embrace the opportunity of transitioning to coaching this new sport, and how did that grow your character as a coach going forward?
Well, it took a lot of time, because a lot of times in the preseason, you're doing, brainstorming and thinking of ways in basketball to plan your season, and you're, instead of doing that, you're in mid-season in volleyball, and you have to think about what your playoff possibilities are in volleyball instead of the brainstorming part of basketball. So It kind of crunches down your preseason in basketball, but I've learned to adjust, and again, using some of the same players, so that we are all working together. Our conditioning is much the same. Usually we take the 4 or 5 days off, in this case 4, before basketball starts, and just build on that conditioning from volleyball into basketball.
I promise you, if you weren't coaching volleyball, you'd just be frustrated in the preseason that you didn't have any of your basketball players. They were over there playing volleyball. So you might as well just keep yourself busy and coach them all year round, right?
That's true. Yeah, I would be. I want those kids to be in shape as soon as possible.
Well, I know as the AD's wife, as the coach's wife, what happens on Friday night, dictates the happiness level at your house a lot. And it's been a really good year on Friday nights for the Patriots. How excited is everybody at Patrick Henry about the football team and how well they've been doing in their first year back in 11-man, and this big game Friday night at Thomas Hayward?
Well, everybody's pretty excited about going down to Ridgeland this week. It's really been an exciting time with the transition to 2A. We all dreaded, I think, going to 2A. We have been 1A so long and so small, but realizing that we can truly compete at the 2A level has been exciting, really has, here at Patrick Henry.
Yeah, what a season so far for the football team, and really excited to see how to do Friday night, and a heck of a game against Thomas Hayward. So that should be a fun one. But I want to ask about yourself. You mentioned that you were a former athlete. Just take me back through those days and what you learned growing up and playing those sports.
Well, I think truly you can learn so much in sport about the game of life that I guess I would say we just kind of relate it to that and learn those lessons through sport, whether it's volleyball or basketball, about the game of life.
What all sports did you play growing up?
Here at Patrick Henry, I played softball and basketball. Believe it or not, volleyball did not start here at Patrick Henry until I want to say maybe the 91 season.
I believe so. That's what Jeffrey Strickland said, and if he says it, it's gospel, right?
It's truth. Then it's in the history books that way.
That's right, absolutely. So so you're kind of a latecomer to volleyball, but how did you learn the game? On the level that you needed to be able to coach it at such a high level.
Well, I worked in Somerville under Teresa Kendall, and she has over 500 wins at Somerville in volleyball and basketball. And so I worked under her as a volunteer volleyball coach for probably I would say 10 seasons. And then when I got to Fort Dorchester and opened Fort Dorchester, I opened their JV and varsity basketball program. And then a year or two later, I was hired as their volleyball coach. And believe it or not, in my first year at Fort Dorchester, we took the volleyball team to playoffs. So I had some experience at a high level coming into Patrick Henry. So
You're a humble woman with a heck of a resume, Miss Belinda.
well, thank you. Thank you. I've had great opportunity in sport.
Speaking of great resumes, you mentioned the name John McKissick, who is the winningest football coach in national history and
Yes.
at Somerville. Just tell me about what you learned from him, from such a legend in the head coaching ranks.
It was a privilege to work on his staff. It really was. And to have that opportunity, he provided many opportunities for me to go to clinics, especially some great basketball clinics and study. And so because I was a student of the game of basketball, I had a 3-day clinic with Dean Smith and just some great opportunities to learn. And Coach McKissick was truly the inspirator of me getting to learn from those kinds of people. It is always fun for me to go through a Final Four or March Madness and pick out the coaches that I had the opportunity to see in clinic. So that's kind of fun for me. Watch this team rebound, because I've heard his rebounding in clinic and that kind of thing. That's always fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm hearing here, a theme developing here, is that you never stop learning, and I think a lot of young coaches sometimes have a little success and start to think they got it figured out, and you're a great example that you have to keep learning, you have to keep studying and looking at the people who have been doing it longer than you, and be a sponge. I mean, you soaked up so much knowledge from your time as an assistant that you were ready to employ that when you got your chance. And I think the same thing applies to the kids. You may be a substitute who's on the bench right now, reserve, but be a sponge and keep learning, because your time's going to come. And if you're ready for it, you're going to have success. So congratulations, Coach, on all your success out of Patrick Henry and everywhere you've been. And thanks so much for making time for us. It was absolutely a pleasure. And we look forward to catching up with you during basketball season.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be on your show. Thank you so very much.
All right. Thanks very much to Belinda McCoy. We'll be right back with more here on the LowcoSports Lowdown. All right, Wes. Well, that was just a delightful interview. Really enjoyed hearing from Belinda and getting to know her personality a little bit, and really look forward to covering her team in basketball season as well. We'll get a few more opportunities. I'm sure they'll play some games over here in our neck of the Lowco, and we'll be able to get out and see them some, get some photos and video and stuff. But really appreciated her time and her insight. And again, like I said, I think there's a ton of value in there for young coaches just to look at the blueprint she followed. She's coaching a sport she did not even play, and winning state championships. And I'm always impressed by that, because that means you truly studied the game and learned the intricacies and have distilled those and passed them on to somebody who's learning how to play the game. And that's just a really impressive skill to have, no matter what information it is you're taking in and then distilling and putting back out. If you can do that, it's a high level skill, and doing it to help kids get better and achieve their goals is certainly a noble way to use it.
Yeah, that's yeoman's work that she's been doing. I mean, the no excuse mentality. I mean, having to go into a really tough situation and acing it by absorbing all that information and just, finding a way to get it done, and exploring the sport and just find ways to learn more and more until you become comfortable enough that you'll be able to take charge. And that's exactly what she did. And just a really impressive career that she has had as a head coach at Patrick Henry, and all the mentors that she had have been key along the way. But I mean, just speaks to her work ethic and dedication that she's put into everything that she's done. And man, just what a special fall we've been having here at Patrick Henry Volleyball State Championship. And how about this football team? What a year so far by the Patriots as they get ready for just a huge matchup on Friday night against Thomas Hayward. Really excited to follow that and see how it finishes in a couple days. But man, it's been a heck of a start to the sports season over there at Patrick Henry, and just so proud of Belinda McCoy and her husband and all that they've done to make an impact on so many young men and women over at Patrick Henry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suspect that school will continue to grow, with Estill High School closing. Obviously that caused some growth there this year. But yeah, it's going to probably see some more growth as with that consolidation. So they got a lot of good things going over at Patrick Henry, and we're excited to be covering Hampton County this season. But we also cover, of course, Hilton Head, and Hilton Head is kind of the center of our universe right now, as far as other than football. All the other teams are fading away, but the Seahawks are going strong. The volleyball team's still going. They have a match tonight as we record on Wednesday afternoon. And then the tennis team has another match on Thursday as we record on Wednesday. So, this could change by the time you hear this, but both of them are in there and have big matchups coming up. And the volleyball team just rolling. They finished third in the region, and now they're in the Final Four in the lower state. Because they're one of three teams from the region still going out of four in the lower state. So they're going to take on Lucy Beckham for the third time. And that is going to be a good one. They lost in 4 sets the first time, lost in 5 sets the second time. So really even matchup, and Hilton Head playing their best volleyball right now. So I have to feel like, they have to feel pretty confident going in there, feeling like the old adage that it's tough to beat a good team 3 times. They're hoping that holds true. And when you're playing well, it feels like it's especially difficult to take down a quality squad for a third time. So I like the Seahawks' chances.
And when you have someone like McKenna Mason, who is so experienced and knows how to win as your setter, that is so many times the difference. When you have that veteran star who knows how to get it done in the clutch, and going to be hard to bet against her the rest of the way. Just named to the All-State team in Class 4A, and former winner of Player of the Year in Class 4A. So one of the best we've seen come through this program, and that says a lot. I mean, of everyone we've seen over the years at that Seahawks squad that Garrett Tlarchek has coached over the years, Addie O'Grady being another example, but McKenna Mason has just been an absolute stud at setter, and she's really laid the foundation for all that this team has done. And what an impressive win to go out on the road and get a sweep of Lugoff Elgin, not an easy opponent. And they take down the Demons 27-25, big-time first set win, and they really carry that momentum the rest of the way. Dominant second set, 25-13, and then they win the third to finish off the match. But Mason was outstanding, 34 assists, 9 digs, 5 kills, 2 blocks. Give you so much. Her talent, athleticism, and that leadership that she shows is invaluable, and certainly going to be a big loss for this team going forward, but excited as she gets ready to play her college ball. And then you look at some of these players that have really stepped up as the year went on. Ali Misko with maybe her best game of the season when it matters the most. This team's really clicking at the right time, and that's what it takes to win the playoffs. And a lot of these depth players have really started to find it, and it just speaks to the leadership of McKenna Mason, Garrett Tlarchek, and this entire team to really put it together at the right time. And that region is stacked. And you mentioned like this might be the time. It's hard to beat any team 3 times, but actually this will be the 4th time they play, because they Seahawks actually played Lucy Beckham in the tournament before region play started. So they're 0-3 against the Bengals. So maybe the 4th time is the charm. And it's certainly possible that the Seahawks team, they certainly have the experience and the drive to get it done. A really heartbreaking loss last year in the playoffs to Aiken. They're in the upper state this year, so they'd love to see them again and get that revenge. But still have a couple more matches to win before then. But this, especially Mason and their team behind her, they want to win for her. So I expect a big time effort on the road at Lucy Beckham, and I just have a feeling the Seahawks are going to do something special the rest of the way and knock off the Bengals.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, here's what I keep coming back to is I'm not betting against McKenna Mason, who when she's playing for her life, like to keep playing for her high school. There's no way I'm betting against her. She's the best player on the floor, and she doesn't want to go home. So I'm taking her. I'm riding with her, and so I like their chances. I do. Gosh, I didn't even realize they had lost to them in a tournament too. That really thickens the plot. I just can't see them losing 4 times to the same team when they're that close. I mean, they're getting closer every time. They went 5 last time. I think they're getting over the hump tonight and moving on. So, but we'll find out, and we'll probably know before you hear this, so you can laugh at me if I'm wrong. But the Seahawk tennis team still rolling too. You got to see them on Tuesday. Not much of a match against North Myrtle Beach. It was like 3 double bagels at the top, and they only lost like 6 games in 6 matches. So just breezing on through that one, but it's definitely going to get tougher from here on. Got to go up to Myrtle Beach, and that's a long road trip. That's never fun. Seahawks versus Seahawks, and the Myrtle Beach Seahawks are pretty tough.
Yeah, that's been a big rivalry.
And you don't want to look ahead either, because you've got a potential rematch with Lucy Beckham on the other side of the bracket. So, what do you think? You like their chances to keep it rolling and make it all the way to state?
I do like their chances of winning this week against Myrtle Beach. I think they get done in a closer affair, but I want to talk about that matchup on the other side, because Lucy Beckham, sure thing against AC Flora.
True.
That AC Flora team is, and kind of an interesting scenario here, because if Lucy Beckham wins, you'll play it on your home court, but if AC Flora wins, you'll have to go on the road. So kind of a pick your poison, I guess you could say, because Lucy Beckham, a terrific team, but you get that home court advantage, which would be huge, or you go on the road. But obviously, you don't want to look ahead. You got to beat Myrtle Beach first, but it's always fun to look ahead at your own peril. But I expect the Seahawk team to get it done. What a great, excellent! Just firing all cylinders at home. Emily Ruckno, Haley Poplin, and KS Kersey, all 3 with double bagels. The old 6-0-6-0. And great effort all around by this team for these Seahawks, and the depth in the lineup really showed up as well. Courtney Costo, who was one of the heroes in that Lucy Beckham win early on this season, 6-1-6-0 over Elisa Zamro, and Alyssa Ruckno, the younger sister of Emily, beating Alex Beltran 6-2-6-2, and then the second dubs, Haley Cruz and Delaney Arroyo, dropping just 1 game. So an all-around terrific effort from the Seahawks, and now we'll hit the road for a classic rivalry matchup with Myrtle Beach. Those 2 teams have met many a time deep in the playoffs for girls tennis.
Yes, they have. It seems like, for years, it was like every single year they were going toe-to-toe in like the lower state finals, like every year. Even they were in 3A at the same time, and then they were 4A at the same time. They just kept following each other around. So Myrtle Beach had fallen off for a couple of years, but it looks like they're kind of back up on that level. So it should be a great matchup, and hopefully the Seahawks coming home with the win and moving on to the next round with a chance to get back to the state championship. So let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, Wes, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about USCB, including a high-profile women's basketball coach hire that you're definitely going to want to hear about, coming from the Big Ten, and as well as a soccer wrap-up on the regular season, and a little bit of high school football news and some baseball recruiting news before we name our teams of the week. Coming up next on the LowcoSports Lowdown.
This podcast is made possible by our sustaining sponsors. Our original sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of LowcoSports.com. Go see Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickle Squad for all your legal needs, and support the local businesses that support Lowco. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling the best pies in Bluffton and on Hilton Head, but don't sleep on the mac and cheese.
Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice provider of Lowco Sports. For more than 30 years, the committed, compassionate staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry has provided a community-based, nonprofit solution to ensure everyone finds comfort, honor, and dignity at the end of life.
Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. Sometimes you just don't want to clean. Call on Carla and her amazing team to do the dirty work at a great price, and tell them Lowco sent you. 843 Sport, the official training center of Lowco Sports. No matter your game, 843 Sport is the place to take it to the next level. They're bringing all the area's top trainers and some of the best elite travel teams from various sports under one roof at 843 Sport. DDS Web Design, the official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If you have a business and you want to get found, Look no further than DDS. They can build an attractive and effective website loaded with all the cutting-edge SEO tools you need to show up where people are looking, on Google. Dave and Denise will get it done. Additional support provided by Cannon Specialty Services, Bluffton Pest Control, Next Move, The Fit Club in Belfairtown Village, and our Patreon members. Join today for $1 or more per month at patreon.com/LowcoSports to get early or exclusive access to our local sports content and exclusive Lowco swag.
All right, Wes, I'm always grooving to the ad music. It's good stuff. Welcome back, and let's talk a little bit about USCB, because big news coming out just today about huge news. In fact, you want to tell us the huge news? I mean, it's pretty epic. I had to do a double take. Like, wait, the head coach? We got a coach coming from Purdue, y'all, the all-time winningest head coach at Purdue. Tell them about it, Wes. You're the voice of the Sand Sharks.
What an incredible hire for this team. Sharon Versep, the legendary head coach who led Purdue to 4 Big Ten tournament titles and 2 Elite Eight appearances in her 15-year career with the Boilermakers. Sharon Versep will be the first and inaugural head coach of the USC women's basketball team. What an outstanding slam dunk hire, and I'm absolutely shocked. What a fantastic job this group did to get one of the legends of these last few years of college basketball, Division I, and just this is going to be a game changer for this program at the outset, to be able to really amp up that recruiting. I mean, this is going to attract so many talented players to have such a coach with a resume like this, and just a huge boon to this program at the outset to have a first, like, it's very rare to have a first coach coming out of retirement to take over this USC program, and I'm just so excited for what we're going to see. I mean, I'm absolutely pumped. I mean, this is a dream hire for USCB, Division II program looking to lay the foundation, and no one better to do it than someone with a wealth of experience at the top level of college basketball. And I mean, you just look at a resume, 418 wins, 257 losses. Wayne is coach over there in Purdue, and has just made incredible impacts over there at that program. And she is going to do wonders here. It's hard to say how long she'll be there, probably not for too long, but to be able to lay the foundation with someone of her caliber and her resume like that is just going to do amazing things for the Sand Shark program going forward. So what an accomplishment this is for Quinn Monahan and this Sand Shark program to land this hire to begin a new era of a new sport here, women's basketball. So congratulations to USCB. What an outstanding hire this will be, and already counting down days for when the squad tips off in 2023, and just so excited to go over there and watch in person in just a year. So very, very stoked about this hire, and outstanding news over there from USCB. And then they also have the men's coach, which was announced a couple weeks ago. The first coach in men's basketball history, Ron Fudela, coming over from Indiana University of Pennsylvania Division II school, and also a very solid hire with some excellent experience and success over there. So I think it's a great starting point for the men's team as well. Did some great things over there with the Crimson Hawks, and so another great guy to lay the foundation. Has a wealth of experience, and he really stuck out with his passion and excitement and enthusiasm to lead this team going forward, and has a great track record over there in Division II, and looking forward to see what he does to build this men's program and get that new squad off the ground. So the future is exceedingly bright for both these men's and women's programs, and just an amazing piece of news just dropping this morning with the hire of Versep to lead the way. So really just so excited about the future of both these programs, and looking forward to hearing more in the weeks to come.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, most folks probably know I worked there for 6 years at USCB, and I covered USCB athletics for the 6 years preceding that, or not even 6, because they didn't have athletics for 6 years preceding that. But I was there from day one, and so I've seen that program grow from what it was when it was cross country and golf, and that was it, and trying to get a baseball program going, to what it's become. And I got to see some of the hurdles and headaches and hiccups along the way and frustrations. And so a lot of the same folks are still in charge there, and to see them, seeing this dream to fruition and then just knocking it out of the park with the hires is really rewarding, especially because we get to cover them. So
Yeah.
we get to cover some. I think these teams
Yeah,
are
like,
both going to be competing for national championships in fairly short order. I think that's the kind of hires they've made. And the most impressive thing to me, or what I guess is most exciting to me, is that they went two completely different directions with these two hires, and that tells me that they didn't have a preconceived notion about what they were looking for. They wanted to hear the pitches from various people about what they were going to do to build this program into a national championship contender, and they went with two very different resumes. The retirement coach is a scary hire for a lot of people, because you don't know, they might get back in there for 1 year and decide they're done. Who cares? It's Sharon Versip. Like, let her coach for 6 months if she wants to. Let her just recruit your first class and hand it off to somebody else. It doesn't matter. You get her in your building for as long as you can get her in your building, and that might be 10 years. She's only 55 or 56 years old. She's still got some good years left in her. She's had a year off now to refresh, and she wants to get back to coaching, and she wants to live here. Why would you say no to that? And so I think this is a slam dunk, pardon the pun, hire, and is going to be really terrific. And obviously it's going to have to put a good staff around her, and some good recruiters, somebody who knows the Southeast and can go get players in this region. But I think it's a great hire. And then with Fudala, he's a go-getter. He's he's the only person who reached out to me personally to ask about the job, because he did his research. And, I said at that time, if they did no worse than that, they would do pretty well. And, I think it's a really strong hire. He's seen from the inside what it looks like to have a national championship contending Division II men's basketball team. And he's going to try to bring that blueprint here and put his own twist on it and build something special for however long he's here. And, I don't think you can get too hung up on how long are they going to be here, though. Well, if they're successful enough that they're getting opportunities to go somewhere else that's better than here, then you made a great hire. You made a great hire.
This is all about setting the stone,
yes,
like that first stepping stone, and setting the foundation. Because once those coaches go on or do whatever they go over to next, either retire or find a new position, they're going to leave behind a culture, and that culture can stick with that program for a long time. And once you have that success, you're going to attract talent in years to come from other sources. And so I think having that strong first coach, no matter how long they stay, is absolutely huge, especially for a program that's transitioning to this Division II level. And for both of these programs, they're going to have time to kind of, and I think it's valuable for both Fudala as well as Versip, to get that time to kind of evaluate things and kind of set the table and develop that roster and recruit and do all those things to get ready for the fall of 2023 when you get started for real. So two outstanding names for Versip, a legend over at Purdue, and just for brand recognition and to get more people to come. I mean, you have it right there, an elite coach who's gotten to a couple Elite Eights in the NCAA tournament. That alone is going to attract a lot more people to come to these games when you have a legendary coach. So that's huge, and so many different facets for brand recognition, for promoting your product. Absolutely huge to have that big time name leading the charge as the head coach. And for Fudala, that's a young man who's proven that he can do it at the D2 level, and he'll bring his own flair, as you said, to this opportunity. And I think he's going to do some great things alongside Versip, who will bring that world-class experience with her to lead this team and to set that foundation for years of success to come, no matter how long she stays. And so future cannot be brighter for USCB basketball and for USCB athletics in general. I mean, this program has come so far. And, just looking back on your journey with them, about where they started out and now where they are now, it's just a testament to everybody at the top and what they've done to build USCB into a tremendous institution, both academically and athletically. And the future is looking so bright now, especially on the basketball court, but also with soccer. And kind of a good segue to talk about this Jay Harris team. Let's get right into it now, because USCB soccer, women's soccer, a tremendous regular season. This was their first year competing in the Peach Belt, transitioning from the NAIA Sun Conference to Division II, and just wrapped up the schedule in the conference. They tied Georgia Southwestern scoreless draw 0-0, end up going a record of 3-6-1, which, it's kind of what you expected, but I thought I'm impressed with how they did, especially against some top level competition. When you look at, they lost just 2-0 to Columbus State, number 3 team in the country, lost 2-0 to Flagler, and they very rarely allowed more than only like 2 games where they allowed more than 2 goals. They were competitive throughout this conference, and that's great to see from Jay Harris in this team. And they've got some really talented young players. Savannah Page, forward, made such a huge impact, scored in their first ever game, and really has become a heck of an addition to that offense and to that group of strikers. Certainly we missed Marvi Calvatin, who's a senior and had the all-time goal-scoring leader for program history, and certainly will be a tough loss. But, you look at that defense and what the back line did this year. Kennedy Harris coming in as a freshman, she has had a sensational year. And Adriana Martin, an absolute stud. She locked down some of the best offensive players in this conference, and she's already gotten the captain's armband as a freshman, and that says something to her. I believe she either a freshman or a sophomore this year, but young player, and they're going to have her for a couple more years. Adriana Martin is a sophomore, but still just a young star who's going to get even better on this roster. So really, really excited for what's to come. And they have so much depth this year, and you just look at who they have. You have that top end scoring with Sinead Anderson and Mari Calvatin, but so many players have stepped up this year to really elevate this team to what it's now become. I think getting a couple of those wins in the Peach Belt have been absolutely huge, especially that win at Young Harris was really impressive to come from behind and win that game. And then you look how they played against the top teams. Very competitive against, like I said, against Columbus State and Flagler. So lots to be happy about for this Jay Harris squad. The season's not done yet, because they'll have a chance to compete in the Continental Athletic Conference tournament. So a chance at postseason play. They won't be eligible for 3 more years until the 2025 season. The next 2 years, they will be ineligible for the postseason. They just play that Peach Belt Conference schedule. But great opportunity for especially those seniors and those other players, sophomores and juniors, that will get to compete for a title here. So 2 more games. They'll be at D1 South Carolina State on Saturday the 29th, and then they'll play Allen on the road November 2nd, and then we'll see what happens with the postseason the rest of the way. But it's all in all, excellent season from this USCB soccer team, and really enjoyed calling their games this year. And the future is very bright with Jay Harris' group as well.
Absolutely, looking forward to seeing what they can do next season. And these transition years are supposed to be bumpy. It's not supposed to be smooth. Making that transition, they make it tough on you.
You're remiss to forget, but Emily Worrell picked up yet another Peach Belt Player of the Week honor. I believe that's her 4th this year, 4th or 5th. That's insane. And she really set the tone with her play and goal. They won their first 5 games all in shutout fashion, and she came up huge in so many different spots in the season. Excellent goalkeeper, and you got to have it. That's the difference sometimes when you have that hot goalie. It's huge for your entire team. Someone who can be a game changer with the ability to make some saves and flip the outcome. So it's huge to have that goalkeeper who you can rely upon, and they certainly have had that with Emily Worrell, and still just a sophomore, so a lot more years to come for her. And just really exciting time for the soccer squad.
And if you're, one of the people like me who in about a week is going to be depressed about no baseball until spring. They'll be playing baseball out in Hardyville in about February. So sometimes January. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the schedule yet, but they sometimes get rolling in January. So there'll be baseball in the Lowco very soon. Don't worry. The Sand Sharks should be pretty solid this year. And while we're talking baseball, let me switch up the rundown just a touch and talk about Zach Talbert from Beaufort, because he announced his commitment to play at Francis Marion. So yet another guy from Beaufort going ahead and committing before the season. Logan Brutcher committed before his junior season to Charleston Southern, but that's two guys in a couple of weeks here now, and I'm really excited about Zach Jacobs' team. His second year at the helm, he had to kind of shake some things up last year, made some changes, just kind of instituting his style and his system, and he's got some dudes to plug into it. So I think that Beaufort team is going to be a lot of fun in 3A this year.
Yeah, they're going to be very competitive. I love the youthful energy that Zach Jacobs has brought to that group, and really excited for that entire Eagles squad. Great to hear that for Zach Talbert, who's a huge piece of their success over these last few years. And, it's great to get that commitment out of the way, because you kind of have that behind them, that pressure's off, and you can just play ball and compete for a state title. And, just really excited for him and the rest of the team. Huge piece over there in the outfield, and just really excited for what he brings to the table. Great speed over there, multi-tool player, great power at the plate. He's a multifaceted star that's going to do some big things for this Beaufort squad, and really excited to watch compete this year. And this Eagle team, they're gonna be fun. Just that culture that's been established these last few years at Beaufort has been fun to watch. Football team, basketball, a great year, and then baseball's always been up in there as one of the top teams in the lower state, and excited to see how they do in their first year in Class 3A. And congratulations to Zach, and a great choice, because Francis Marion coaching the Bennett, he's been there for a while. That's an outstanding program with some great history, so I expect him to do big things over there.
Yeah, great choice. Good program, quality veteran coach. So, and Talbert, doing a good job on the football field too. And that transitions us to our last item, which is our 5 Lowco stars who were picked for the Touchstone Cooperatives North-South Bowl. I mean, that's what we know it as, the North-South game. That's what most folks would refer to it as. And we had Chris Marable picked for the Shrine game. So he was off the table, but 5 more from the Lowco picked, 2 from Beaufort, Casey Fields and Colton Ferries, duo from May River, Jaden Jones and Darian Perry, and then Bluffton's Jalen Linder. All very deserving picks, and actually all guys that I was like, this guy better get picked. So good job by the committee getting the right guys from the Lowco this time around, and really excited for all these guys to get a chance to show out in that All-Star game.
Yeah, great opportunity. All of them so deserving. And what a great list of 5 studs that we've been able to watch here in the Lowco this year. And what a great story that Casey Fields has been. What a grinder who's worked so hard. And I'm just so proud of what he's done. And to see him dominate, run for like 200 yards a game, it's amazing stuff, and certainly deserving of that success. And he can fly down the field when he gets some open room. He's a threat to take it to the end zone in every play, and really enjoyed watching his development. And Bryce Libert has himself a dude in the backfield down the stretch, and he's going to, however far he'll go, this team will go with him, because they can ride his hot hand down the stretch in the postseason. Could be a big next few weeks for the Eagles if nobody can find a way to stop them. So excited for Fields, and Colton Ferries has been a dude as well. Terrific impact player across the field on both sides of the ball. Phenomenal defensive back who just has a great knowledge of the game and great athleticism, always seems to be in the right spot, and become a nice impact maker on offense too at wide receiver, and just great quickness, agility, and he's really shown a lot, and he can return some punts too. I saw that punt return against Battery Creek was insane. One of the highlight plays of the year. So that was cool to watch that, and just an electric player, big spark plug to that Beaufort team. So 2 outstanding players over there from the Eagles. Not surprised. Bryce Labyrinth's done an amazing job growing that program over the years. So two more stars going to the North-South game. And then over at May River, 2 outstanding pieces for the Sharks. Jaden Jones, I get to watch in person, dominant on the ground, great quick legs, also a strong defensive player. Love the player that he's evolved into, another absolutely hard worker over the years. And then Darian Perry, another terrific piece of that Shark core, who's provided a huge lift as running back, but also a beautiful defender in terms of his ability to cover downfield and just the speed that he shows to stay with those wide receivers. I mean, just a do-it-all player once again for the Shark squad. So two great choices there. And then Jalen Linder, man, chip on his shoulder mentality throughout his Bluffton career, and he has shown out, closing on 1,000 receiving yards. He's got 11 touchdowns. Just a big-time year for Linder. Just seems to always get it done when the ball is thrown his way. And, I mean, what an explosive weapon that the Bobcats have been able to enjoy having. And Greg has done a good job to really unlock more of his potential this year. So I've really enjoyed watching Linder really take it to the next level in the senior year. And all of these dudes, I expect to earn some spots at the college level. I think all of them have a shot to take this thing further, especially Fields. I really hope he'll get some good looks going forward because he's definitely deserving. But, a couple other guys who I definitely could have seen in this ball game as well. Jaquin Williams, he's one of the best linebackers in this area of the state. Plays with chip on his shoulder. Love his intensity, and definitely another guy who could have been a part of this. So there's always snubs just because that's kind of the notion, but then you got to take somebody off, and then it goes into all that argument. So it's tough, but at the same time, you just wish that more guys got a chance to play. But we got the Blitz Border Bowl coming up too, so we got to give an opportunity for even more stars to play in an All-Star game. Yeah,
absolutely. And then that game's, you can't have enough all-star games as far as I'm concerned. Just let everybody play one more for fun, like where the outcome doesn't really, your whole heart and soul doesn't rest on the outcome. Just let them have one last time with some finality to it. And I love that idea of just about everybody who wants to get an opportunity to play in some kind of game. So maybe we'll add our own down the road and add another layer.
Kind of transition to like the other sports, like man, I once again just disappointed that COVID had to ruin the basketball showcase a couple of years back. Just and I just hope that down the road we'll have the opportunity for more kids to kind of have that closure and earn their way to playing in a game like this down the road.
Well, keep your eyes open because we're going to find a way to make that basketball showcase happen this year. We're already talking to some people about that. So we'll make sure that happens. But before we get out of here, Wes, we've had a long show today, but let's honor our teams of the week. And I will let you take the first crack at it as usual. Where are you going, buddy?
I have to go with my alma mater and go with the Hilton Head High volleyball team. And, this is this year. And when you look at it as a whole, I mean, it's definitely tough to replace Addie O'Grady. And McKenna Mason has been a star. We knew that she would be, but I think the key was who else was going to step up. And I think some of those players have started to do that down the stretch. And a lot of that goes back to Mason and her ability to really show that leadership and help elevate some other guys on this team. And the great coaching of Garrett Talarchek, who's already won 2 state titles and has really shown his ability to get the most out of his players. So I mean, I did not think I didn't think they would pull out a sweep here. Because this is tough to go on the road against a strong Lugoff Elgin team, but just great tenacity all the way through. A huge first set win, but Mason's been a huge part of that and invaluable leader of this team. But you got some other guys to really keep an eye on too. Leah Jackson with 15 kills, 5 digs in the block in that win. Ali Misko, who picked a great time to play her best game of the season. And I think the sky's the limit for her going forward. Excellent defensive skills, and I think that's a big part of having that reliable libero defensive specialist who can make some plays and deny the other team some kills. 21 digs, 5 kills of her own, 2 blocks, and then Isabella Taramokia with 15 digs, and then Kenzie Bigger with 8 kills, 3 service aces in the block. Some of these names have not been that familiar to us, and that's because they've lost a lot of talent last year. But you look at these girls who have put in the work, and they're certainly deserving of the success, and it's just great to see it for these new faces to step in and work well with Mason and the rest of this team and then propel the Seahawks squad to the Elite Eight now in Class 4A. And I'm not going to bet against Mason. I mean, this is her senior year. She's going to go out to try to win another state championship. And, you just have that senior mentality. You just don't want it to be your last game, and you're going to keep giving it your all on every point. And we're going to see that from Mason. We're going to see this from the entire Seahawk team as they battle Lucy Beckham tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one turns out. Wish I could be there up in Mount Pleasant for that one. I'm going to keep it on the volleyball court and go with the state champs, Patrick Henry volleyball, and our honored guest today, Belinda McCoy. They've won 6 straight region championships, 8 of the last 9, and they have not lost a region game since 2018. Made the move up to SCISA 2A this year in the restructuring in SCISA, and won their first state championship. So fantastic stuff there. Did not lose, as I said earlier, did not lose a game in the playoffs in the SCISA state tournament. Just breezed through it and took care of the Kings Academy in the championship game. So plenty has been said about them already, and you can go back and listen to Coach Belinda again and hear her gush about her players and those 5 seniors who have been so critical to their success. But it's a team effort, certainly, in volleyball, and she brought them along this season and had a state championship caliber team at the end, and that's always a goal. So congrats to Patrick Henry volleyball for my team of the week.
Yeah, great story, and congratulations to those, especially those seniors who, I mean, she said they've been together since the 5th grade. You just love to see that, to have that bond all the way to the high school time of their lives, and then be able to wrap it up with a state title. I mean, that's just a dream come true, and testament to all the hard work that they put in.
And they're going to expect to run it back in basketball, I guarantee you, because they don't like to lose. So much like Hilton Head Christian Academy, you have success in one sport and you roll into the next one, you expect it to carry over. So they're going to take a lot of those girls and a lot of that momentum with them into the hoop season, which we're getting ready for. Football season winding down, all the other fall sports starting to wrap up now. So we're getting ready for basketball, and we'll have lots of coverage coming at you very soon. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Loco Sports Lowdown. Thanks so much to Belinda McCoy out of Patrick Henry, the state championship coach, for sitting down with us. Thanks to our sponsors, and thanks especially to you for listening or watching the Loco Sports Lowdown and supporting grassroots and local sports content. Until next time, go Loco.